And we are live. This is the Dr. Nick's Amazing Man Stuff YouTube channel, and this specifically is the live stream titled The Doctor's Orders. Now, to begin, we were looking into some stuff. It looks like YouTube might have some connection down detector type stuff going on intermittently today. So if it buffers or it lags or you guys see like fuzzy like right now, it told me we're good, but a second ago it said we weren't. So if there's anything, just be patient, you guys. We both checked out all of our internet connections and stuff, and we should be good, but we'll make the most out of it. I have a feeling a lot of people are home today and they're on the interweb, specifically YouTube, and so maybe just a little bit more than they can handle. So ride with us, guys. Patience. If there's anything going on, we will do our absolute best. But this is the Doctor's Orders live stream, episode 69 in a row, I believe, right? 26. So yeah, the last one of this year, because we'll be back in 2024 for the next show. So the last one of 2023, you guys, never missing a show. And today we're going to talk about the holiday season reflection, and pretty much, here's a little hidden secret, whatever you guys want to talk about. If you have any questions or anything, we'll go over whatever you would like. My name is Dan C. Bearded. I am the co-host of this show. It is a highlight of my week. I genuinely look forward to it, and I love talking to you guys and hanging out with this gentleman to my side over here who happens to be the co-owner, the founder, the man behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, even on things like the news. I do want to talk about that a little bit today too, see how that played out as the week went on. But right to the point here, we have the doctor himself, Mr. Nick Phelps. How you doing, sir?
Doing good, man. Full of ham and probably way more sugar than my body's used to dealing with. So I'm a little spacey, but that, hey, I'm enjoying it.
You know what you're getting into, right?
Oh, yeah, I knew exactly what I was signing up for. It was naps. It was not being able to watch a whole movie without falling asleep. It was all of those things that I never get to do. So I'm actually I'm pretty pumped about the way that turned out. Actually,
that's beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. It's busy and crazy over here when you have 3 kids under 8 that are all home for break, and wild craziness, but all good. All the new toys and presents and all that kind of stuff is we went into full blown like organization mode last night. Like, all right, got the kids set aside. Now, what toys do move out? What toys do you place where? And kind of get a resemblance of normalcy.
Oh, yeah. So we kind of got there at one point, but then, Jack took off yesterday to go hang out with his mom for a few days. And so Jill and I got super lazy and didn't do anything aside for eat leftovers. Because we had this. So my family, I think it was my dad's idea. Maybe it was because he was super antisocial. I don't know. He always had this great plan. I always thought it was kind of a crap plan. But then growing up, I realized it was a genius plan. Instead of doing Christmas Day dinner, he always did Christmas Eve dinner. And so that was like our family's like big dinner was Christmas Eve.
Okay.
And so later on in life, you realize that actually does a number of, things for you to your advantage. Right? Because on Christmas Day, you don't have to cook. You don't have to clean. You don't have all this stuff to worry about. You kind of just get to hang out, eat leftovers. And it's like the day after Christmas, but on Christmas. So it kind of like blends the two parts of the holiday together. Very, good idea.
Oh,
Man was wise beyond his years.
Brilliant.
So, hey, we did that. And I imagine we'll get home tonight. We'll do the thing where we make it look like, Christmas never happened except for the tree and the decorations that are up.
Yeah, we haven't got to those yet. What's the allowance we have to leave up decorations? Is it to like New Year's Eve, or do we got a little bit of clearance there? What do you guys think?
I mean, I'm like a New Year's Day kind of. I like to start the new year with most things down. Now, that said, the candles in the windows out front, like that kind of thing, sometimes those actually stay up like well into January for us. But I don't know. I think the bulk of the Christmas explosion, the tree and everything else, I try to have down for, we usually have our tree up still on New Year's Eve, though, I think so. I don't know. I don't know. I'd give it around New Year's, right? That stuff's got to start coming down before or after.
Jill has made the call January 1st. So you are right. It's probably up on New Year's Eve, and then the next day, boom.
Right. I'm not crazy. It's up on New Year's Eve. Yeah.
No, you sound right. You sound right. I just being so busy and stuff, I hate to even like start. Once I do it, I'm fine. But like starting the thought process of like, all right, let me add this to my already silly to-do list today. There's nothing
Yeah.
sexy about taking decorations down. You know, it's so hard to to get to that point. But once I do it, I'm like, this ain't that bad.
No, it's not that bad. And depending how stupid you go with your tree, like there's been a couple of years recently where we had a very large tree and I had to like dismantle the tree with a sawzall before I
Oh,
was able to get it outside. So that kind of added to the, oh man, I'm going to put it off as long as possible thing.
yeah.
But then it's like it's a double-edged sword because then that thing is like all the way dry and it's just dropping every needle it can possibly drop. And so you're there with like your Makita sawzall, like sitting there, like arm into this damn tree. There's like pine needles flying everywhere.
And don't you get like an allergic reaction to the trees?
I do. So I got to wear like long sleeve shirts and like, something to just keep it off of me. But there I am. Yeah, exactly. Every year cutting down this massive tree inside, then dragging all the pieces outside and throwing them into the woods. It's, I don't learn my lesson apparently because we keep going back for more. This year was like the most reasonably sized tree that we've had in a long ass time. It was 10 feet, I think.
Whoa.
So, I mean, that was the most reasonable tree we've had in a long, long time.
Yeah. No, that's pretty huge though. I hope you understand. 10 feet is massive.
So I realized this. And even this year, it was like, okay, well, I guess we'll do this one. It's a little small, but Jill and I are just laughing at ourselves because we've tried to outdo the tree every year and every year, and then all of a sudden it's just like I think it was like 2 years ago. We can't remember if it was 2 years ago or last year. We had to cut like almost 4 feet off of this tree we bought because it was too tall for our living room, and like our eyes were bigger than our ceiling. And Jill's like, well, we'll have to trim a little off. And then when it got delivered on a trailer from the tree lot,
Oh my
I'm
God.
like, oh yeah, we messed up. Like this isn't good.
It was just huge.
Dude, I look at it. I told Jill, I'm like, okay, we have like 11 feet to work with here, maybe tops at like the peak we should go under, and she's like, okay. And she's like, this is the one. And I was like, that tree is 14 feet. And she's like, I know, it's perfect. And I'm like, well, remember how we talked about how tall the ceilings are? This is definitely past that. She's like, we'll need to trim it a little. Like I finally gave Jill the bug so bad that like no amount of logic last year was going to talk her out of this 14, 15-foot tree. Like it didn't make any sense that we were buying this thing just to cut it down. And she's like, perfect. Yep. Bring it home. Looks great.
Oh my gosh. Is it like through a sliding glass door or where are you fitting this thing through?
Yeah. Sliding glass door bound up. So, it kind of like you bind it up on the side so you can get it through the door. But therein lies the removal problem, right? Because that thing's been sitting there for a month. So it's not as flexible as it used to be. That thing's a little long in the tooth now. It's brittle. And then you gotta like trim it narrower to get it out. So my go-to move has been cut the tree in half, right? Take the top half of the tree, bring it out, then get some of the big branches, cut them off, and then you can kind of bind up the rest and shove them through the door.
Nice.
But thankfully this year I don't have that problem, like because we were very responsible. We bought a reasonable sized tree, and we're gonna be able to get it through the door. We're growing. I'm proud of us.
That's awesome. Now, have you ever lit a dry Christmas tree on fire before?
Come on now. Yes.
Holy cannoli, is that thing go?
Oh yeah, they go quick.
Go.
Oh yeah.
You got to be careful.
Dude, those things go up real quick.
When we go camping, we look for pine cones to do as fire starters. So the boys will get like buckets, like go, and then they come back all proud as can be, and then we use those ones.
Dude, that stuff is so freaking brittle and dry. It's insane.
It is. And then the sap is like an accelerant, it's awesome.
My favorite line shortly following that comment in that movie is, I wasn't talking to you.
Oh yeah. I haven't watched that in probably 10 years.
Yeah, I know. I haven't watched it in about 3 hours. It's
been, my gosh.
Yeah.
That's
we
great.
did a good, 18 times yesterday. It was on TV.
Right. Now, a couple things, guys. One, we are going to do a pretty cool giveaway today. And this giveaway, Nick, you want to talk about the giveaway and who it's coming from and any details there?
Yeah, this is coming from. I'm seeing if I see him in the. Have you seen him in the
He's
chat?
in here. Yep.
Yeah, he's here. Beardo Weirdo. So Beardo Weirdo is donating. So he's from Sirius Cycles in Plymouth, Mass. And Dennis here, Beardo Weirdo, and Sirius are donating a giveaway today. He texted me about this last week. We already had a couple of things lined up for last week, so we figure what an awesome time to do it, but right after Christmas, and just to keep the giving spirit rolling. And he's going to be doing an awesome giveaway today. We're going to be doing, what is it? We're going to be doing a hoodie and
beard sanitizer.
And a beard sanitizer. So Dennis thinks people are sleeping on the beard sanitizer. It's
right?
One of his favorite products, and people who use it love it. I use it. I love it. I think people are sleeping on it, and he thinks people are sleeping on it. So he wants to basically have us go through the normal giveaway sign-up process here, except he is going to be sponsoring it. He's buying the same exact things for himself, and he's like, if I'm going to be buying this for myself, I want to give away the same thing because he's an awesome dude and loves doing stuff like that and loves you guys. So there it is. So Beardo cool. Weirdo giveaway day after Christmas, hoodie, beard sanitizer awesomeness. And there he is. That's SiriusCycles.com. They have some awesome stuff. If you have like a couple extra $1,000 burning a hole in your pocket that you just can't seem to figure out what to do with, and you like riding mountain bikes, Dennis is your guy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And yeah, a lot of people are loving the sanitizer for many different applications, right? Obviously to sanitize, but they love the little hydration boost that it can give. They like the smell of it. There's a lot of benefits and multi-uses to that product.
It's huge. And some people have been finding huge. It's oddly enough, people have been finding a really good deodorization benefit of the hypochlorous acid. A lot of people use it just for that purpose, and they love it.
Yeah, no, so cool. So we will be doing that, guys. There is a link pinned in the chat for the giveaway entry. That'll be at the end of the show. And we've got some new familiar but new to the show faces that are in here. I believe we had Brad. He said that this is his first time catching the show. First time for the doctor's orders. He's excited, usually sleeping because he works night shift, but he had it off. So he's able to join us. So shout out to Brad.
What's up, Brad?
Awesome. And then we have, and he's been loving Instagram, jumping into this full beard community from the fragrance community. So shout out to the olfactory zone, and he has some Dr. Nick's on the way.
That is awesome. The olfactory zone. I love that.
Yeah, he does content for like fragrances, colognes, and different things like that.
Oh, very cool. I'm interested. Do you ever mess with stuff that falls into the aromatherapy, spectrum of scent kind of profiles? Because I know there's obviously things that are, the olfactory responses to scents in general, but then there's like the intentional kind of induced responses there for like different types of, impacts and benefits of different, essential oils and, things like that.
For sure.
That'd be super cool.
Shout out to Saad, who's been on the show before. What's up, my man?
Oh, man. Cool. What's up, dude?
All right. So question, this was actually, and Leo poses this, I actually had this ready to ask on this reflection show to begin with. And if you guys have any Dr. Nick's questions, feel free to drop them at any time. I can star them. We'll get into it. Next week is the first show of 2024. So it'll probably be a lot about what's to come in the year 2024. So just keep that in mind. We'll be kind of going over that stuff. But Leo says, I haven't seen as many public decorations as in previous years. Have you? Leo, not even to like a close, like, oh yeah, it seems like a little bit, to a massive degree. And my family is guilty of it as well. We did not do exterior decorations this year. We did interior ones and did that all normal, but we just told ourselves we had a lot going on, and there was like medical stuff and all this stuff going on that nobody ever needs to hear about everybody else's problems. But we just said, hey, if we can get to it, we will. And we just didn't have a chance to quite get to it. And we noticed it everywhere. And For us, at least right now, you guys, it is 53 degrees out and beautiful. I went out with shorts on to go get the mail. It is beautiful in 53. It does not.
It's 50 outside right now. It's gorgeous.
It does not seem like the holiday season weather-wise, and every year has been kind of leaning towards this, and I can prove it because I used to measure, or I still do. I measure my winters by amounts of times I need to shovel the driveway. This year, knock on wood, I'm at a grand total of 0 without even like a guilty one. Normally, I'll have like a guilty one in there. I'm like, probably should have.
Could have shoveled it.
Yeah, I could have.
Just drove over it.
Exactly. It'll melt. I've had 0 of those times. We normally have snow days by this point. We normally have, we had an ice storm a few years ago, and the frequency of which I've had to shovel my driveway has gone from double digits to last year was twice. And this wasn't like a freak year. It went from like 12 to 9 to 7 to 6 and slowly started to have less and less. So posing this to you, I have noticed it. Sam has noticed it, at least in our area, like at least half the amount of decorations are down this year. Did you guys notice that? Or is that something that comes to mind?
Oh, I mean, yeah, we were actually just talking about it the other night. There's a few places that do kind of like big light displays in the neighborhood. You know, there's like a few of those around, and we haven't seen those around. And we were gonna go and go see one, but I don't think they were doing it this year either. So I mean, the displays that are kind of like always there are in some cases just not.
Agreed.
And then I think to your point, the ones that are still out, everything's very small.
Yep.
And like lots of neighborhoods, I think there's, like if we had like a whole street that's normally like lit up, there's like one house on that street that did stuff this year.
100%.
We did our normal stuff. Like we do little candles in the windows. But we normally do like some lights in the trees outside and stuff like that. We didn't do that this year. We just did the lights in the windows. That's kind of like we stuck really basic.
Same. We did window stuff from the inside and did other stuff, and that was it. And I think
from the inside,
I don't think it even has to do much with Christmas. I noticed it with Halloween as well.
We weren't guilty of that.
No, we weren't either. We went, your guys' decorations went ham. So we did that too. But when we went trick-or-treating this year, it was dang near half the amount of houses that normally have their lights on. This was my thing. Like, everybody's entitled to do whatever they would like. I saw many, many houses where all the lights on the front of their house were off, including the front rooms. But then you'd see back into like their living room and they'd be like, have a light on and cowering under a movie. I'm like, what's the worst stressor in that situation? Buying a $9 jumbo bag of candy and just setting it out until it goes and leaving your light on, or feeling like you have to hide and cower? Maybe it's a moral thing. But I just noticed it
I don't know. I mean,
this year.
I don't know. To me, it's like I would much rather just, buy the candy, stick it outside, and be good to go. Or if you're Jill, you'll dress up like Pennywise and make kids accept balloons from you in order to get candy and scare them away. And
Jill takes it to the next level.
Yeah, but no, I mean, you're right. I mean, it's weird. It seems like what's interesting though? I don't think it's just holidays. Like, people are just more shut in general this year. I've noticed it. Like, people when out in general, people are less likely to people are still just as friendly, right? If you get them talking, people are still just people.
Same people.
Yeah, but getting people talking and getting people to act like they want any kind of interaction has been very different this year. I mean, all year.
You and I have been talking about that for weeks, and we've noticed it on the online world.
Mm-hmm.
People just seem to be in a rough spot this year. They're quicker to lash out. They're quicker to have negative assumptions. They're quicker to just not have that humanality about it, and it just seems like, I don't know if it's what the world went through for the previous, 3 years, and then it's like we're trying to figure out how to come out of that. But it definitely has leaked into the holiday season. There's no doubt. It definitely has. Yeah. And so, Leo, that's very interesting that you noticed that, because I don't think we've discussed it. I don't think it's been said. And we all just kind of were like, oh, okay, yeah, there is something to that. And so hopefully it's just an adjustment period, we kind of get this figured out as we move forward, because I'm not quite sure how to reflect on that.
I don't know either. And I don't know, If the amount of 1-star reviews that we get based on someone not getting their package or the postal service messing up is any indicator of just people that are just a little on edge and kind of like lumping people in with negative feelings about stuff. I mean, heck, I'd say things are still increasing.
100%. And as someone who people trust when they come to for recommendations, and I give them a recommendation, I almost always hear about the experience. I've noticed that same exact thing. People going to 10 on the anger scale on things where I would have assumed it would have been a 2 or 3, an inconvenience, a nuisance, that sucks, but it'll get all worked out. It was really ramped up this year, especially with the shipping and of course the carrier system did not help itself. It was not great. There were tons and tons of problems. And a common one, I would like to put this out there on the stream because so many of you know us and trust us. A common one that I noticed and I was able to like articulate in messages and in my Facebook group, where people would receive the package, right? They'd get the notification that it was delivered, and then they would freak out because the package is gone. And I had to explain, I don't know what the system is or why it does this, but I've seen it time and time and time again. They mark it delivered before they actually deliver it. I had someone just recently, just this week, reach out and tell me, or last week, reach out and tell me that. And I said, just wait. I said, I bet you it will come later. I said, just give them a chance. It'll come later. Sometimes it's not till the next day. And they said, that is really interesting. I got the notification around like 1 o'clock. My mail doesn't come till 4 on a regular basis. And I said, yeah. They must have marked it as they put it into the truck. They must have did something, but patience, we'll get through this. And then the ones that killed me were the ones where they have the shipping and you see it's moving. And then the anger is towards the beard product company. Like, this hasn't left Boston in 3 days. And it's like, we wish we could go get it for you and deliver it to you.
We do. Like, we so do. We very much do.
Yeah. So it's
absolutely. There's some crazy ones, man. Like we've had people mail us saying that like, hey, it says delivered and it's not here. What kind of scam are you guys running? And it'd be like, wow. Like if you could actually get the postal service to mark things as delivered for you and have them actually not be like a thing and you were running like a scam with it, that'd be like a pretty widespread scam, right? That'd be like, postal service level infiltration.
Apocalypse.
Oh man, can you imagine being able to like control delivery notifications?
Oh, you could cause mass chaos.
Oh God, yeah. What gets me though is like the ones that like it's not moving and this kind of stuff. Like clearly this happens with the postal service, and I just wonder like, are we the first purchase that someone's made online? Like maybe people don't shop online much, and like they do to get something from us, and they're not used to tracking and what the postal service does and how we have zero control over it. I mean, I can just imagine, like what other vendors must hear about these problems the same way we do, right? We can't be the only ones that have packages that don't get status updates or get lost, right?
No, you actually likely hear less because your local post office does a good job because you guys treat them well.
Yeah, they actually do a really good job.
Once it gets outside of that, they don't have control of the Boston shipping center. They don't have control of Brownstown, Michigan, and these different places that are the hubs. Like that's definitely challenging. And here's some really good points that you guys make. This is why I love these streams here. I think Dynamo's right. He says, unfortunately, instant gratification. That was, as my teaching, I was only in 12 years, but that's still a significant portion, and I saw the instant gratification building more and more. And also being a content creator, I've never noticed it anywhere else more in my life than content creation.
Oh yeah, I bet.
The amount of people that want to do this, that want to be a content creator, but they do it for the wrong reasons. And they need that instant gratification. And when it doesn't meet their expectations, they either quit, which is fine. They turn to hateful and resentful for those that are doing it, which is unfortunate, but it's all about that instant gratification. And it's like, I wish I could teleport people back to my first 6 months when none of you knew me or the channel. And you saw that I would get 15 views on a video for 6 months and like nobody was in my live streams and there was no affiliates. There was no anything. It's like that doesn't exist, right? A lot of people don't realize Dr. Nix didn't start last year, right? A lot of people don't realize Dr. Nix has been around for a while. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
a process. It's a journey. There's no instant gratification. And I think when they see that shipping, it's like, I need it tomorrow. And we're definitely all kind of tainted by the Amazon shipping, right? Which is an amazing thing, but it also like makes the expectations unrealistic everywhere else.
I think you're right. I mean, it does. But then again, like some people say they have the same experience with us they have with Amazon, right? It's like certain people will have
Right.
people up and down the East Coast and they're like, man, I don't know how it gets here in 2 days. But then we have someone that writes a review for us just like last week. And he was like, I love this company's products, but man, you really need to order like well ahead of time. He's like, I order from lots of small batch companies. I get them all in 2 to 4 days. He's like, these guys are 2 to 4 weeks tops, and this and that. And it's like every time I order, it's 2 to 4 weeks. And I'm thinking to myself, like, how is it, we get 2 shipping labels printed. Some guy says, this was amazing. I got it in 3 days in Arizona. And this guy's in like Michigan or somewhere. And he says it takes 3 weeks every time. And I'm like, it's the same service. It's the same type of postage. It's the same carrier. I don't know. I don't know what happens differently, but it sucks with back to the original point. People typically don't associate us with their bad shipping experience, right?
Right.
And this time of year, especially this year, to everyone's point, it seems like we are getting associated with that bad experience, right?
Yep.
And to answer someone else's question, like what justifies a verified purchase or something like that. I mean, if you make a purchase, the review system sends you a link, and if you'd like to make a review, you can. And it usually waits a week or so. And then if it's doing its job really well, it actually look for delivery confirmations, which in those cases are extra frustrating for the people on the other end. I get it, right? You ordered something, it took longer than it was supposed to. It says it was delivered, and you didn't get it, and now we're sending you a request to see if you want to write a review for us.
That's a good point.
So people are like, well, sure, give me the product. Like, I would love to write a review, but I didn't get what I paid for. And it's like you go through and that whole thing goes through your head. And typically, I think people are like, well, hey, I'll ignore this email because clearly USPS messed up and I can't write a review. But this time of year, this year, people are like, oh, hell yeah, I'll write a review. I didn't get it. And, so it's like, it's just, I feel like everyone's a little already redlining with the frustration this year.
Agreed. And I love Tynamo's second part, right? It's not enough just to complain and to observe. He put in a thing that we should all think about, and he says patience and accountability will help curb the trend. And it goes both ways, right? Patience, okay, patience for the package, patience for the company, but then accountability. These negative reviews are putting the accountability of shipping on the small batch company, and that's not fair. That's not where the accountability lies. Now, how the company responds and how the company handles the situation is 100% up to the company, but it's difficult when you get somebody that is not making logical sense, and then they're screaming and they're swearing and they're publicly doing these things, mixing in things like Leo was saying here, which we know this to be literally true. Some people are committed to write negatively, even if fiction.
Well, there's that. And I think for some people, it's like it's a release for them this time of year too, to be honest. It is. It's like, this is a frustrating time of year for a lot of people, but it's one of those weird things too, where like, I don't know, usually is for me too, but it wasn't this year. Actually, this year was enjoyable.
Same. Yeah, I agree. I was more focused on my immediate family than ever before. I was like, I'm going to make this a great season for Sam, Violet, Jax, and Maddox. And it really paid dividends with our family. And I love that. And Phil's sharing here, I've not just from like what the companies we talk to and people we talk to, I'm seeing it everywhere. And Phil is exactly right. He says his wife is a barista, and she noticed that people were extra grouchy this year. Rather than saying like, thank you so much, Merry Christmas, they just snatch the coffee and walk away. And it's like, we're seeing that, which leads me into Leo's question that kind of brings this all together. And it's, again, I love this group here because we're not just here to observe. We're not just here to complain. We want to figure this out and see what we can do. And Leo says, if people aren't associating with others this time of year, then when? I do have a thought on that. And the more and more I observe this stuff, the more and more that it makes sense to me, and kind of two sides. This year, I've heard more hard stories than ever before during the holidays. People that had lost loved ones, people that went through divorce and are in a
Mhm.
home by themselves for the first time, literally more. Maybe I was just tapped in more and looking for it more, but I heard a lot of those stories. So I think the
I feel like
holiday
I did
time,
too.
yeah, oh, you good. I think the holiday time makes it extra difficult to associate when you're in that kind of situation. But I also have noticed, and again, I don't know if it's just me focusing on my family's health because we've gone through some stuff and trying to dial it in. The impact of the lack of sun, at least where Nick and I
Oh,
live, and many of you in northern US,
oh,
is real. Like it's real, real, real. That feeling of spring and the sun coming out, and you want to just go outside. All I remember every year is like the spring hits. You just want to go for walks. You want to go say hi to your neighbors. You just want to be outside and out and about. And this time of year can kind of turn that off, and you don't want to, and then you're not getting vitamin D, and then that's making it more negative. It's almost just like this vicious feeding cycle that just keeps going and going and going. I At least my mind would like to think that that's part of it.
dude, it's got to be. I mean, that gets me every year though, so I don't know what's different about that this year than
Yeah.
every other year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not sure,
Like,
but I know
maybe
we
it's
can bring
getting
it
even
around.
worse. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's like this outside, but when it's like this, there's snow. So maybe it's like it's the lighting, but it's not the snow. So you don't quite put that thing together in your head where you're like, it gets a pass. It's winter, right?
I think so. And I think there is some happiness that's brought with snow, at least for the early part of it, right?
There
Early in
is
winter,
for like the
most of us
first,
are like, woo, yeah,
yeah, for like the first
snowballs
10,
and
15 minutes. I
yeah,
agree.
right? We're cool with it. But now when you look outside, it's just gray and gloomy, but also it's kind of cold and stuff. So and Jill's right too. Seasonal depression, of course, the shorter days, right? We just had the winter solstice a few days ago. That getting dark at 5 o'clock it does something to you. There's something that happens with that.
Oh yeah. I mean, 5, 4. It's
Yeah,
like,
four, yeah,
dear
that's
God.
fair.
Yeah. Like if they
That
if we do get rid of daylight savings time and stick to like one time or the other, I guess that would help that a little bit because we just fell back, right? So if we stayed sprung forward, then it'd be getting dark at 5 instead of 4. But again, the days they're short. Where
yeah,
it's just is what it is.
that's the rotation, baby. That's how it works. So yeah,
Mm,
no, I hear you, and I think we can get it together. I think we keep having conversations like this. I think we keep understanding. I'm big on perspective and empathy.
me
When people
too.
when and me and Nick have these conversations every day. When people lash out, when we see these things, we always try to go to why. Like, why do you think that they're doing this? Why do you think, like, just before stream, we're talking about situations and we're like, that's why they're like this. That's why this happens. And hey, we're gonna try our best to work with them and help them. And I think if we all did that, we'll be okay, and we'll start to come through.
Well, dude, you do. And it was proof, like I'd say this weekend, like we had, like you said, you focused on family this holiday, which was great. We did kind of the same sort of thing. We did so like I was saying, we do, Christmas Eve dinner. So yesterday it was nice and relaxed, and we were able to kind of just do whatever we want. And it was kind of nice. Like to be honest with you, it was kind of nice, like not worrying about what was going around, what was going on outside of the four walls of our
Yeah,
house. Just kind of staying in our little vacuum, and
yeah.
it was kind of it was great. I don't know if we were. I don't know if that's contributing to the problem we're talking about though, because we really didn't feel like going out and doing much.
I hear you. I hear you.
so,
Yeah,
so I don't know.
yeah. And then that's good to analyze and think about. I don't think it would be productive of making yourself go be in situations, but when you're
Right.
in them, try to be kind. Try to
And I guess
be.
that's kind of, yeah, and I suppose that is the difference because we have done that, right? Like
Mhm.
we've been out and about and had to go out for whatever reason. We went out on Christmas Eve, to go bring dinner over to Jill's mom and over to her mom and her sister and do that whole thing. So that was fun. So I guess you're right. There are some people that like even when they do get thrown into like the spot where like they don't necessarily want to be there, they make it very obvious they don't want to be there.
Yeah. And Darian's right here too. He said, I think it's the opposite. I think sometimes taking a break resets you and keeps you level.
Dude, it
Yeah, as
does.
long as you can do what, like, in my perspective, what Nick and I are talking about right now, where they're taking a break, there's nothing wrong with that. but sometimes people take the break, and that's when the dark thoughts start spiraling, and then coming out
Maybe.
of it's more difficult. As long as you can keep your perspective of, we didn't want to leave our four walls yesterday. We wanted to stay in with family, and you leave it like that. I think that's beneficial, but I think sometimes people get away from others, and then especially once they start creeping onto the internet, then there's that lack of, this, and so definitely some value in taking a break as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then
That is.
last thing on this one, and then we'll move on to a much more serious topic, but this another thing I observed, and this was talking to a friend yesterday. He's Jewish, so he does not celebrate Christmas. He said he has noticed with many of his friends that do not celebrate Christmas, there's been a difference with them as well, where on both sides, people that celebrate Christmas and people that don't. He said he's noticed people that celebrate Christmas feeling more uncomfortable with wishing holidays to him, even knowing he was Jewish. And he was like, I never felt uncomfortable around people. He said, I always had the best intentions in mind. If someone said to me real quick, like, hey, Merry Christmas, I'm not going to correct them and tell them I'm taking it as like the feeling of the season and the positivity.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll tell them happy holidays, or I'll tell them Merry Christmas back to them. He said that he's noticed people being more uncomfortable with that, but he's also noticed his fellow friends that do not celebrate Christmas have been a little bit more pushbacking on it. And he said he didn't know where that was coming from. And I think it's all just kind of lumped into this year, this something that's going on, and whatever the cause of that is.
I think you're dead on. And actually, I mean, that's people. Hold on though. It's not just saying happy holidays or Merry Christmas or whatever you're saying. Right? I think there's this year, especially, people are very, very heightened and uncomfortable and don't know what to say to people that are potentially different than them in any way. Right?
Fully.
Whether you're like a different religion, you're a different color, or you're going to say one thing to say happy holidays, or one thing to reference which friend you're talking about in a group of friends. I don't think anyone knows what's okay to say about anything right now. Like, I feel like everyone, when they go to reference anybody with like a pronoun of any kind, they're like and and it's almost gotten comedic at this point. Like, everyone I know that does it literally even drops the joke, like, well, it's 2023, so I don't really know what I'm allowed to say here.
Right.
And like, people, I've heard that phrase. I've never heard that phrase any other year of my life. I've never heard, well, it's 2006. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or not. It's like, I don't remember ever hearing that leading up to this year. And this year you hear it every day.
It's with everything, even like addressing people with beards seems like a controversial topic. And it's like everyone's worried about being canceled. Everyone's worried about being corrected. Everyone's worried about these things.
Oh, I have one for that. Remember the other day we were talking about beard myths, and we were talking about how, people feel comfortable coming up to people with beards and saying things that you could never say about, the opposite sex and parts of their body that would be big or small or anything else. Anyway, this woman in the grocery store on Christmas Eve. Yeah, it was on Sunday. I had to run out for a couple of quick things at the grocery store on the way back from somewhere else. And this old woman comes up to me in the store. She's got to be late 70s, early 80s. And I see her. I walk by her in one aisle, and I got like my hand basket. She's pushing her cart. And I see her look, and I see her like look over clearly at my beard and keeps walking. And then I'm in the next aisle, and I see her like poke around the end of the aisle, like one of those, to like see if I'm in that aisle. And she comes like beelining for me once she makes eye contact. And I'm like, oh, here we go. And she comes up and she's like, I'm sorry, I had to come back and find you. I just had to say, this is just beautiful. She's like, is that okay to say? Am I allowed to say that? I'm sorry if I'm not allowed to. If I'm not allowed, it's just beautiful. I just wanted to tell you, and Merry Christmas. And she like walks away, and I was like, wow. Like, even this woman, like, she didn't know if it was okay to compliment me or not. She was like, I don't care. But am I allowed to? Like, and
it's worse on the other side too. As men, like, you feel like in 2023, we can't say, like, she thought saying to a man, imagine being a man saying, hey, you look beautiful today. Like, that's not your wife. And Jill's right. And I think we talked ourselves into I think like the main reason why this year has felt so weird is exactly Jill said it perfectly. The shift is in full force and we have no idea how to talk to each other anymore. So people resort to not talking. People resort
Yeah.
to like, let's be harsh or just, and so there's a lot. Yeah, there's definitely a lot. Yeah, and Leo says here, he goes, I remember a rabbi being asked how to respond to a non-Jewish saying, God bless you. He said, thank you, God bless you too. And that's what my friend was saying. In years
That's
past,
what
he
it
had
is.
noticed him and all of his friends, when they would say Merry Christmas, they would just simply take the intention of the holiday and say Merry Christmas back to you. Nobody, I would hope, I can't say nobody because that's probably not true. I would hope most people would never say Merry Christmas in an intentionally digging way, right? If they
Like,
know, like, you
who
know what I
the
mean? Like, I
can you
don't
just
think that exists. If it is, you're an atrocious person.
can
But
you imagine?
oh, right.
Oh,
Like,
and
I
by
know
the
they don't
way,
celebrate.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Oh, so I definitely hear that. And so I think
Mm,
lead with positive intentions. I think it'll all work out. I've been adamant about making compliments whenever I can. Like that's my new thing. I've been doing this for like pretty much the whole year, and I leave notes to servers and all these things, and I really try to make them. If they want to take it and turn it into something it wasn't intended, so be it. But I'm going to smile. I'm going to have a good presence about myself. I'm going to do the best I can to be kind.
that's it, man. And I think that's an awesome little nail to put in the top of that one is just like that's really all we can do. I think everyone here is on the other side of kind of what we're talking about. I don't think you'd be here if you were on the side that we're talking about. And it's like and that's really all we can do. I mean, just keep approaching the world with a positive
Yep.
attitude and sure, you're going to get shot down at
It's going to
times.
happen.
Yeah, but like don't let it affect your ability and desire to keep doing that, right? I mean, that's
100%.
I guess that's kind of the message here. Someone just said, Brad Hartman just said on a positive note, I got some Dr. Nick's #9 for Christmas, and oh my god, I love it. And so I don't want anyone to think this isn't in a positive note. I guess I'm actually I think I'm talking about negative interactions in order to talk about something positive, which is like
Exactly.
I woke up this morning feeling freaking great, like
Same.
ready to attack the rest of this week. I love the focus and the little bit of a lull that I have here between now and the second. And I guess I've just been getting kind of introspective today, right? I've just been
Same.
kind of like thinking about my little interactions that I have with people and like what's been happening in my little bubble over the past week and what's going to happen over the next week. And I guess I said all of that to say this, which is, you know, with as weird as everything feels this year, I personally don't remember ever feeling much better. Like I feel really damn good. Like I love everything we're doing here. And I love the fact that I get to focus on it like crazy over the
Yep.
next week and talk about it next week, and that's going to be great.
Yep.
But you know, it's like I guess it's one of those weird things. We're proving to yourself that you can feel good even when everything feels really freaking weird. I think is kind of cool.
Agreed. I've never felt closer to my wife and my kids, like to a crazy level. I've never had more gratitude for the people that are in here right now, from Nick and Jill, to everyone that's in the chat. Like, and I mean that. Like, I mean that to my core. Like, sometimes it takes those rainy days to appreciate the sunny ones, as corny as that
Mm-hmm.
sounds. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
really do. I went on like a little tangent at the end of Monday about how much I appreciate everyone, because I do. Like, I was in my feelings, I really do. And so if there is a positive, I think you're right. Like, we take this and we appreciate all the positives and we go through. And the olfactory, I love the last part about this. He said, so as said, it's a transition stage to get back. I think so. I think we're transitioning and we're figuring it out. And anytime you have a transition, there's stuff that kind of goes to right. Think about a sports team, the Detroit Lions,
Yeah.
0-16, worst team in football. Just 3 years ago, they had 3 wins. And last year, there was a transition. They made some dumb mistakes, but they were better. They made some bad coaching, but they were better. Just on Sunday, they won the division for the first time in like 30 years. They're going to the playoffs, a home playoff game. You got to have that transition. And I think that's
Mm.
where we're at. And I think we in here can be leaders, at least to by example, of showing how you positively transition in and out of any situation.
Dude, for sure. Okay. So holiday reflection time. Can I hit you with a super weird one that I haven't even texted you about this yet, but it is like bizarre. We've been talking about weird stuff happening
Yes.
lately, right? Just mentally.
Yes, hit me.
Think maybe this plays into that pretty good. So I had something weird happen last week. And this is just, it's interesting. I figure, I don't know, maybe this is just, it'll be food for thought for somebody. Chew on this one though. Tell me this isn't a weird one. So last Thursday, the 21st, yeah, I drove down to New York to get more work on my left arm done. I sent you some photos there. You know, there's some stuff peeking out of the sleeve here, all
I saw
scabby
that.
and dry, and it's getting. I'll show more
Stop.
next week when it's not all dry.
Stop it.
And so I'm going down there, and so the weirdest part about this day is, I woke up early in the morning, right, to like get going down to New York for a 12 o'clock appointment, and I'm driving down there, and in the morning I'm texting Jill. I'm like voice texting her from the road. I'm like, man, I had the weirdest dream last night. I'm like, I had this dream where it didn't feel like a day went by in the dream or something. I had a dream where like it literally felt like 14 to 20 something days went by. Like I had like this, it literally seemed like I couldn't tell if it was weeks or months that I had this crazy experience. And it was Jill and I. There's a bunch of stuff going on in this dream, but there was a weird part about the dream I'll get to in a minute. And so I texted Jill. I was like, I feel really weird right now. Like, I feel like I'm kind of like back in town and I've been away for like a couple of weeks and I'm like driving somewhere. It just felt like really out of place. And so as I'm driving, I'm realizing more and more weird things happened. And I'm like, wow, I realized that all the way down to New York. So for everyone, rewind a little bit. Back in 2018, I quit smoking. In 2018, when I quit smoking, I started vaping. Last year, I stopped vaping finally, and I was just on the nicotine pouches, like the little synthetic nicotine pouches. It's not like chewing tobacco. You don't spit or anything. They're just like, just slowly dissolves. And then you spit them out. And then, so I've been doing those for, I don't know, almost a year now. I don't know, maybe 8 months to a year, something. So get this. In this dream I was in, Jill and I couldn't find vape juice or nicotine pouches. All we could find was cigarettes or chewing tobacco, and we didn't want either one of those. So both of us stopped doing those things. She stopped vaping. I stopped using pouches in this 2 to 3 week period in this dream.
What?
So I'm driving to New York, which is usually when I always want nicotine, is I'm on a long drive. Any drive, I'm like, where's my pouches? Where's the blah? And I pop one in and I drive. Whole way down to New York, didn't even think about them, didn't use one. So I'm thinking about it at this point now, and I've texted Jill about it. And I'm like, in the tattoo appointment, I'm getting tattooed.
Oh, and this is real life now.
Real life.
Okay.
I drove to New York, no nicotine pouch.
Okay.
I'm at the tattoo shop, no nicotine pouch. And so I'm getting tattooed, right? 6 hours in, no nicotine pouch. Ate dinner, got in the car, drove most of the way home. I drove all the way home that night. But I'm talking to Jill partway home, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell happened. I literally went through like a 2-week period where I remember in the dream going through all the terrible parts of nicotine withdrawal, like physically, mentally. I was depressed. I was angry. Her and I were arguing all the time in my dream. I went through all of those things, and but now, like in real life, I was like, a couple of weeks past all of that. And then so fast forward to Friday, the 22nd, wake up, go through my morning meetings, everything else, no nicotine, have coffee, don't even have like the desire at all. And now it's been what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, day 6, no nicotine for the first time in 26 years. I haven't gone more than 20. So even through sickness, through COVID, through flus, through everything, I've thought back, I haven't gone more than 36 hours without nicotine since I was 14 years old. So 26 years. I have not gone more than 36 hours without nicotine. I'm now on day 6 and I haven't touched it. I haven't done one here and there. Nothing. I have no desire. Like it's gone.
Wow.
From waking up from a dream where I was forced to quit nicotine, I'm now on day 6 without nicotine, and it hasn't bugged me even once.
You forgot the detail to tell us that the dream was induced by ayahuasca.
Dude, you know what? If it was, I'd tell you.
Right.
But it wasn't.
That's wild.
Dude, right?
Yeah, don't question it. Don't fight it.
Dude, I'm not. Like my buddy Tom down in Florida, he's like, dude, I want that dream. He's like, you figure out how to induce those sorts of dreams. He's like, you're gonna be a freaking gazillionaire. But I was
Wow.
like, yeah, I literally can't explain it.
Yeah. If you guys don't know Nick as well as I do, or Jill obviously knows him way more, Nick has some weird abilities. Like when we talk about like the time and space that's real, he even has the ability to put himself to sleep in like stressful situations, which I
I
think
do.
about on a daily basis. Nick, I hope you understand that, because my brain cannot wrap its mind around you being in a stressful or painful situation, being like, I'm just going to sleep. Boom. That's
Yep.
crazy.
Out.
Crazy. So you have tapped into something. You got a little
Dude.
extra like brain route that we don't have.
I don't know, man. There's got to be something. I'm like literally at this point, I can't even ignore it. I'm like, I literally had a dream where I quit nicotine and woke up and it was real. Like
That's so
it's
wild.
almost like I was trying to prove to myself that like what happens in that other state of existence can actually bleed over into this one. Like, I don't know, like, okay, is it true? Fine. Watch, you'll quit smoking. Like, no, and then like, boom, all of a sudden you do. I was like, I don't know. I don't know what kind of deal I made with myself on this one.
Man, if you guys ever want to understand like the conversations Nick and I have on like a daily basis outside of beard stuff and beard people, it's this. Like,
Yeah,
this
it's
is what
this. Yeah.
this is what we talk about and ponder and try to solve like the mysteries of the universe. This is what we do.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you know, if you're only going to try to solve the problems in the physical world that are right in front of you, like everyone else is, I mean, you're wasting your time, right? You really gotta, you know, think outside the dimension in order to really confuse yourself.
So true. All right, you ready for a confusing one?
Yes.
So let's do it. Let's keep it civil, everybody. No gang wars or anything. Let's keep this cool here. I'm going to put a poll in the chat, and I would
Yes.
like some explanations of why or why not for the biggest divisive question outside of pineapple on pizza. Dennis would like to know, and then we're going to get into his giveaway right after this. Do you think Die Hard is a Christmas movie? There is a poll in the chat. I know where Nick and Jill stand on this one. You guys are firm, yes.
Yeah, but that's a nasty question. You're a nasty person, Dennis. You're trying to you're just trying to make problems is all you're doing here. I see exactly what you're doing.
Oh, yeah, and I'm here for it, Dennis. I'm here for it. Now,
oh, yeah, of course
I have something to admit. I told you I had not watched the Griswold movie in double-digit years. It's probably been way more than that now that I think back on it. I probably have never watched it fully. I was probably forced to by my parents. I don't watch many movies, like, at all, and this is one I've never watched.
You've never seen Die Hard?
I know people go crazy on me for this. I've never watched Die Hard, not a minute, other than like clips that have shown up on social media.
I mean, to be fair, it's one of those things where I feel like either Die Hard and the Griswolds were on repeat on some cable rerun channel when you were a kid, or they weren't, right? And I feel like they are both nostalgia movies. I think Die Hard is absolutely a nostalgic movie for a lot of people because it's just one of those things where, like, for me, I can literally smell a fire, see a stale bowl of popcorn, three other people sleeping on a couch with Die Hard on for like the fourth time because it rewound and replayed itself in the VHS player. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to me, that's where it brings me. So that's why I like it. But so to me, I think it's a Christmas movie. One is because, I mean, it's just, yeah, I do.
You see the poll?
Huh?
Do you see the poll?
No. Where's the poll?
It's in the chat. If you're able to pull up YouTube, you don't have to. It is.
No, it's not popping up on this one.
It is 50-50 right now.
Is it dead on 50-50?
It is an exact 50-50 right now. That's crazy. That is crazy. And I think for me, my family, I grew up it got better once I was like kind of in high school age, but earlier, we were really poor, like really poor. Like we just didn't watch TV. We didn't have any of that stuff. I didn't go on vacations. And so like a lot of those like Hollywood memories and stuff, mine were just different. And I don't know if that's like made me not want to watch in the future. I'm not exactly sure, but I have not watched Die Hard. Now, hit me the rundown super quick of the debate. I know it's an action movie. I know the premise of it, but there's like Christmas tree decorations in the background and stuff, and that's why it's a holiday movie or a Christmas movie.
No,
Or
I mean
what's
the biggest reason, the one that always sticks out in my mind is the whole movie takes place during an office Christmas party.
okay? Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like it's the holidays. Like he's traveling through the airport, and there's all kinds of like holiday stuff, right?
Okay.
There's a Christmas tree. So I mean, in that sense, it takes place during Christmas. So
For sure.
is a Christmas movie defined as a movie that is about Christmas, or is a Christmas movie defined about a holiday that is set in a time that is during Christmas?
Okay. And
I think
JGJ
that's the
said,
delineation. That's the real question we're asking ourselves here. Die Hard is just a mere manifestation of one side or the other of that equation. That is not the question, but the answer. I would say.
Okay, Vado's saying, hey, the actor said it's not a Christmas movie.
He did, but he was in a movie that took place during Christmas. So if the construct that we're defining here actually exists, is it up to him? I don't think it is.
Yeah. I see why it's a challenging question. Now we got some more votes rolling in, and the yes, I think you swayed some people that were on the fence, and it.
Oh, and see, I didn't mean to.
No, you're just sharing, and
I'm just looking here. Now, if we look up online, 9 reasons why Die Hard is a Christmas film, we can absolutely see that there are more people that are on this side of the equation, right?
Right.
The basic narrative of Die Hard is a man returning to his family for Christmas. So dashing through the snow in a 1-horse open sleigh, right? Over the hills we go, Die Hard all the way. Because here he is traveling from New York to LA to see his wife. And it's during Christmas. He's bringing a bear to his daughter. It's a Christmas present. And these are like the struggles he has to go through in order to get reunited with his family on Christmas. I mean, what's more Christmas than that?
And Dead Cat says, is Home Alone it? Now, I have seen Home Alone. To me, it's not about Christmas. Kind of the same premise, but a kid's one. 100% Home Alone is a Christmas movie to me.
Perfect. So I would argue that you're setting an important precedent right there. If we're considering this case law, right? If Home Alone is a Christmas movie, thereby Die Hard is also a Christmas movie. If Home Alone's a Christmas movie, Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
If the setting is Christmassy, I think that's a Christmas movie. I think 100%. You're more likely to watch it then.
So, I mean, look at it, right? If you look at Home Alone, is it about like Christmas? No, it's about a kid being terribly neglected by his parents, who should probably have the Department of Family Services kind of maybe attach a little bit and see what's going on there. Because I think there's something worth looking into if you can forget one of your kids when you travel to another state, right? And so that, in my mind, is really what that movie's about. It's gross negligence. Is Home Alone. I'll just go on record to say it.
For sure.
But if that constitutes a Christmas movie because it takes place during Christmas, well then, hey, Die Hard is grandfathered into that one, if you ask me.
Yeah, and I see the other side too. You guys are making good points, and I do see how it can be a slippery slope. Like James says, and we're about to do this giveaway, guys, in just a second here. Is Lethal Weapon a Christmas movie? Because it's going, I think it would probably depend on, like, we'd have to make like a scale. What percentage of the movie shows Christmassy things like wrapping paper and Christmas trees? And if we hit like a certain threshold, then it is, or something like that.
Right. Or if it has Joe Pesci in it for a certain number of minutes,
guaranteed,
then clearly it's a Christmas movie.
Has to be. I think that's actually the only measure.
I mean, in that case, then Die Hard would not be a Christmas movie.
I'll give them that one. That's fair.
That, hey, I'm happy to play devil's advocate on this one. Yeah. Either way, like, bring it.
Sure. Yeah, we could have fun. All right. Thanks, Dennis. Now for that, you have to provide a giveaway.
Thanks a lot.
All right, you guys, there is a link in the chat. Most of you have signed up already, but this is provided by Sirius Cycles, which is in Plymouth, MA. And if you want to get some bicycle, mountain bike stuff, they got you covered. Dennis works there, and Dennis is going to be providing a giveaway for a hoodie from Dr. Nick's and a beard sanitizer spray from Dr. Nick's. We're get this one going. And we got 2 different Dan B's in the chat right now. How wild is that?
Wow.
True
It's
story.
Dan B squared.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and see who our potential winner could be. If you see your name on the screen, guys, you guys know the deal. Just drop a comment to say that it is you and claim that victory, and you're going to have a little boost to this holiday season, you know? All right. Let's see where we're at here. And man, I hope you guys understand how much we appreciate your perspective and discussion. And we always learn stuff. We always leave these like, that was a really good point. Yeah, that was an awesome point. But also feeling better, right? If you came in with some like holiday blues, whether it was yourself or people surrounding you, maybe some perspective today helped to like understand, but then also have like a positive path moving forward. At least for me, it did. You brought up a couple points where I'm like, oh yeah, or even Jill, like, oh yeah, I forgot it does get dark at 4:30. Definitely that factors in. So thank you guys for all the perspective today. Really cool. Okay. You ready to see this winner? Let's do it. If you see your name on the screen, guys, drop a comment. Do we have Mr. Dun 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 Vince Perry in the building? Vince, come on down. Would
I
that
know
be
he
Perry?
was here.
Yeah, he was commenting earlier. I'm sure he is.
I'm sure he's here.
Is that pronunciation accurate, you think, Perry?
Yeah, I'd say you're safe there.
Yes, thanks. Hey, thank you for being here, and shout out to Dennis for providing this giveaway. I will link this up right now.
Heck
Jill,
yeah,
as
dude.
always, I'll fire this over to you. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Dennis.
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
Awesome beard too, man. Looking good.
Oh, yeah. Legend. I think
so now question, before your beard went white, were you on the dark black side of things, like on dark brown black, or were you red? Because we were just talking about how red goes straight white
right away.
So when I go white, I'm probably going to go white.
Yeah, you're not going to transition.
You know what's funny is you're dead on right too, because like look at these guys coming out here. They're not gray. They're like I thought I got paint in my hair the first time I looked down and saw some of those hairs. I was like, what the hell? I got toothpaste there? They're like freaking white, straight up white hair.
Oh, awesome. Very cool. Jill says she has Vince's info. We'll be able to get your sweatshirt size and your winnings out this week. Super cool. Super
beautiful.
Cool. So
awesome.
Congrats, man. And thank you, Dennis. And for everybody else
on top of it, as always.
Yeah, buddy. We will be live next Tuesday, 1 p.m. I think that's the 2nd, right? Sunday is the New Year's Eve. Monday is the 1st. And so that will be the 2nd of January. And hey, a beautiful way to kick off the year. We'll talk about some upcoming plans and thoughts. And if you guys have some questions, it's going to be a perfect product and company discussion type week. And then we'll be excited early on in the year to get some guests to come in and interview on this show and kind of hang out so you guys can meet some new personalities and keep this going. So again, guys, welcome if you were able to tune in today because of your work schedule. You can catch us every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, or always come back and watch the replay. If you guys want to leave a comment, Dr. Nix always responds to every comment on this channel. We'd love to hear from you even after the fact. And final words from Jill before we kick it to the doctor. Enjoy this week, everyone. Take a moment for yourself. Spend time with family. Be good to yourselves and others around you. I absolutely love that.
I can't leave it any better than Jill left it right there. I mean, that's literally it. We'll just say I'll see you next week on January 2nd. And Jill said it. Be good to yourselves, be good to the people around you, have fun, eat some good food, take some naps, relax, and try to get your head wrapped around how you're going to make this year a better one.
Absolutely.